Wow, what a week it has been. There have been two different pieces of news that have been released this week that are going to impact the world of Amazon FBA massively, in my view. The first piece of news that we're going to talk about in a second is to do with the coronavirus, and I really think it's going to change the future of online shopping and Amazon FBA and really help to increase sales and profits even more. And the second piece of news is to do with Brexit and Amazon FBA selling in Europe. It's not something that's really going to impact complete beginners, but it's something that more impacts people like me, experienced sellers that do sell throughout Europe. So, if you're interested in selling in Europe, or if you already do, make sure you stick around for that piece of information. So the first piece of news that I want to talk about, and this isn't just relating to Amazon FBA, it's like a very broad thing. So this week, the government announced that if you want to go shopping in public from the 24th of July, you're now going to have to wear a face mask. So we can see these articles here where it says face masks and coverings are going to be compulsory in all shops. The health secretary is saying if you don't wear a face mask in public when you're out shopping, you're going to get like a massive £100 fine. So it's basically going to change the way that people shop. Now, I don't know if you guys have been out and about with a face mask or not. When you first try one on, it kind of takes a bit of getting used to. For me personally, I don't really enjoy it. So I would rather not go out to town if I want to shop and stay at home. So, what does this mean? Well, let's not just look at my opinion. I actually went on to the Daily Mail's comment section. Even though it's a dreadful paper, the comment section is usually a good place to head to for like an indication of public opinion. But this article here, the one that's saying about where you're going to have to wear face masks in public, and you can even see here, it says retailers warn that it's the last nail in the coffin for business. Let's look at what the comments say. The top rated comment, and I just checked this now and it's on like 12,000 upvotes, is more reason to shop online. And then the next highest rated is rest in peace, the high street, 24th of July. So you can, and that one's got nearly 10,000 upvotes as well. So you can really kind of get a sense of what the public's view on having to wear face masks is going to be like after they're made compulsory. So I do genuinely believe that that is going to be really bad for the high street. In addition to expensive car parking rates, if you want to drive into town, long queues, and all the other downsides of like shopping when you shopping with a real retail store, you've also now got to be mindful of the fact that you need to wear a face mask, and if you forget it, you're going to get a fine. So that, I think, is going to make online shopping, the percent of people doing online shopping, skyrocket even more. And let me just show you, you might even think watching this now that loads of people already shop online and there's probably not much more growth. Let me just show you this chart here. So I've been running a webinar now on Amazon FBA, and this is a chart that I have been showing for the past couple of months. So I'm like always checking to see when it's updated. So this is the chart prior to the lockdown. I've kind of just hidden the end, and you can see that around Christmas time of 2019, the number of people shopping online as a percentage of all retail sales was just over 20%. So that's 1 in 5 purchases are made online, which it's not as high as you might think, is it? I mean, before I started looking at these charts on a regular basis, I always thought online shopping, everyone does it. It's probably like 75%, 80%. There's not much growth left. Right, look at this. I'm now going to show you what it's like after the lockdown measures have been implemented and basically the latest figures available. So it's gone up to 32%. It is skyrocketed. That's still only 1 in 3 purchases are made online, which is pretty mind-boggling, to be honest. I thought it would be way higher. So why does the news that I just mentioned impact this? I think, I've said this previously, online shopping has still got way more growth to come. But I think the fact that the government are now going to make it mandatory to wear these face masks, it's going to supercharge this. And more people are now going to start going online, going onto Amazon and buying instead of going downtown and going to retailers. So there's going to be even more opportunity for us Amazon FBA sellers. There's going to be growth in the number of sales, growth in the number of demand, and just way more opportunity for people to make money by selling with Amazon FBA. If you're on the fence about doing Amazon FBA and you're thinking, you know, it might be oversaturated, there's not that much growth left, hopefully that information there has kind of convinced you that there's still plenty of growth to come. But I'm also going to show you this pie chart here, which should hopefully just push you over the edge and make you realise that Amazon FBA is an absolute dead cert for continued growth, and there's still plenty of opportunity. This pie chart here that shows you that 1 in 4 purchases, 25% of purchases made online are through Amazon. And I would say that's at the very least, that's of the people that go straight to Amazon. Think of all the different people that probably go onto Google and type in their product and then end up on Amazon. So that 25% figure there, that's at the very least. So the past 6 months, like 2020 as a whole, has been pretty dreadful, to be blunt, for everybody. But I really think that once we're through all of this, the fact that so many people have now experienced online shopping from the lockdown, and from the fact that they're now going to be kind of pushed towards more online shopping because of the face masks, I do think that 2020 is going to have a lasting impact and make far more people choose to shop online and buy with Amazon, which is ultimately going to help us guys doing Amazon FBA. So that was the first announcement this week from the government. The second announcement is also to do with the government, and it's about Brexit. So this has been known for a while now about what's going to happen. We're leaving the EU on the 1st of January, and at the moment we don't really know what's going to be happening with our relations with the EU. But this week was kind of the first time that Amazon had properly acknowledged what sellers need to be doing, and they sent out this email here that in summary basically says that if you want to sell in Europe now, you're going to have to send your goods directly to a European fulfillment center. So if you're new to Amazon FBA and selling in Europe, I'm just going to give you a quick recap of the different options, or the 2 main options available. So the first option is this one here on the left, and it's the European Fulfillment Network. Now, the European Fulfillment Network is turned on by default, and the reason it's turned on by default is because there are no tax implications, there are no like storage implications or anything like that, because you get your goods shipped from your supplier wherever in the world, you get them shipped to the UK, and then listings will appear in Amazon Germany, France, Spain, Italy, and Netherlands. Okay, and if a customer logs on any of those sites, they'll see your listing, but it will say dispatch from the UK. So that customer can be like, okay, fine, I want to buy it, and I'm happy to wait a couple of extra days for the parcel to come, because it's coming from the UK to Europe, so it's going to take a bit longer. So it's turned on, as I say, because there's no implication for you of tax implications for you of selling to someone in a different country. The only implication is that there are higher fulfillment fees. Obviously, it's going to cost more to ship a product from the UK to France than it is from the UK to somewhere else in the UK. So that is like the beginner's way of selling in Europe, and you know, it's turned on by default. Then the second option, and this is more for advanced people, this is something that I've been doing for about 8 or 9 months now, is called the Pan-European Network, and it works very similar to the European Fulfillment Network in that you get your goods shipped from your supplier to the UK, but then rather than your goods being stored in the UK, all of them, Amazon distributes your products all throughout its European fulfillment centers. And this has 2 main benefits. The first is that your fulfillment costs are going to be lower, because obviously if you sell a product in Germany and your goods are already in Germany in a fulfillment center, then the postage costs are going to be lower. And also you can therefore offer prime delivery. So somebody that purchases a product in Germany can get next day delivery because the product is already in an Amazon warehouse in Germany. The downside of it versus the European Fulfillment Network option, and the reason it's not turned on by default, is because of the tax implications. So you need to register for VAT in any country where you store goods throughout Europe. So with the Pan-European Network program, you have to register for VAT in 6 different countries, and there are costs to that. Amazon does cover it in the first year, but it's about £5,000 a year. So you really need to have a viable product and stable cash flows to be able to consider that. And as somebody that's been doing that for all of this year, I'm telling you, it's a lot harder than the European Fulfillment Network option and just selling in the UK, because because of the fact that you're paying for it through your tax compliance costs, you've got to make sure that you're really on top of your listing. So it needs to be translated professionally. You need to be on top of your pay-per-click, which is in a different language, and so on and so on. It's a lot harder and it's not really recommended for beginners. So that's a summary of those two options. Now, what is Brexit going to do to those two options? Well, this is a picture version of what it's going to do. There's going to be a new customs border. So you guys will know when you import something currently outside of the EU, e.g. China or America, when the goods come over, you have to pay import duties and VAT. Okay? The EU at the moment is classed as a single market, and because we're in the EU, we don't have to pay for duties and taxes again when we're sending goods to and from continental Europe. However, because we are now going to be leaving the EU officially on the 1st of January of next year, we are no longer going to be part of that single market. So if you get your goods sent to you in the UK from your supplier in China, you're going to be paying your duties and taxes. If you want to then dispatch to somebody in Europe, you're then going to, either you or your customer are then going to have to pay duties and taxes again, because we are no longer part of the single market. So you can see here now where this big line is, that's basically saying as soon as a product crosses that line, you're going to have to pay duties and taxes again. And this is why Amazon have said in their email this week that the European Fulfillment Network option at the moment is, from the 1st of January of next year, is not going to be an option for us anymore. And the reason for that is because they don't want customers to be sent a tax bill or a duties bill, or us to be paying a duties bill or whatever. It's an admin headache and it pushes costs up. It's not going to be viable anymore. People in France are probably going to see goods in the UK and be like, okay, I do want this product, but I don't want to have to pay additional postage costs and duties. So therefore, that's no longer going to be an option. Then the second fulfillment, European fulfillment program that Amazon has, the Pan-European Network. Well, now, if you want to do that from the 1st of January, you're going to have to send your goods to either Germany, Spain, France, the Netherlands, or Italy. You can't send it to the UK, because if you send it to the UK from your supplier, you'll be paying duties and taxes. And then if you send it again to a country in Europe, you're going to have to pay duties and taxes again. It's not going to be cost efficient and it's going to crush your profit margins. So that was the big announcement this week. It wasn't really news to people that already sell in Europe and kind of were aware of what was happening, but it was Amazon's official announcement. Now, this, I would say, isn't really as big a piece of news as the other piece of news that I spoke about earlier. And the reason being that I think selling in Europe is for people that are a bit more advanced and further down with their Amazon FBA journeys. As you know, as I mentioned earlier, I've been selling on Amazon for 2 years now, and selling in Europe is difficult. It's very difficult, and for me, it takes the passiveness away from the Amazon FBA model. I love the Amazon FBA model in the UK because I understand the UK people, the customer base, I understand the language, I know what does and doesn't work. Selling in Germany and France has shown me that it is a different world, it's different keywords that people use, it's a different language, people have got different levels of standards. You'd have to do instructions in different languages, all this and that, okay? I'd say it is definitely worth it if you are a full-time Amazon FBA seller, but if you're not, if you just want to have this as a passive income stream, which is what I'm all about, I would say this piece of news isn't going to be something that changes the game. You can still sell in the UK as before. The costs are still going to be as before. There's some people out there that might think that the UK market is going to get less competitive now because Chinese sellers aren't going to want to split their shipments up. They're not going to want to ship to the UK and to France. They're probably just going to want to ship to one place in Europe and have it distributed as a whole. Who knows? Like, nobody knows for sure. It's all speculation, but my view is it's not something to be worried about as a beginner to Amazon FBA. The real piece of news that has come out this week that is huge in my view and is going to change the game with online shopping and how much money you can make is this piece here about wearing face masks in public. Based on the videos I've seen on with people in America, some people just don't want to do it. I think in the UK, people aren't going to make as much of a song and dance about it. They're not going to, force themselves into shops without masks on. Instead, I think people are going to be like, do you know what? I'm going to shop online. I want to avoid paying high car parking costs. I want to avoid the queues. I want to avoid being with millions of other people that might be infected. I want to avoid wearing a face mask. I'm going to shop online. It's easy. So hopefully, guys, that first piece of news has convinced you that Amazon FBA is still very viable and it is going to be viable for the foreseeable future. There's been many announcements in the past few months about the growth of Amazon FBA. Jeff Bezos is going to be a trillionaire, is on track to be a trillionaire by 2025. Now, what does that tell you about the future of Amazon? It's here to stay and it's going to continue growing. So that's my news for this week. If you have enjoyed this video, guys, please do remember to subscribe and give me a thumbs up. And if you've got any thoughts on these pieces of news this week, post them in the comment section below. I'm always interested to hear what you guys think. Otherwise, I will see you next time for another Amazon FBA video.